Is this the most Christian Super Bowl ever? We're going to talk about all the particulars with the He Got Us campaign. Obviously, both of the quarterbacks have made clear professions of faith in Jesus, and Rihanna announced a new baby, but more on that later. The He Gets Us campaign, apparently $1 billion, a billion with a B, dollars, towards getting the message of Jesus rebranded, and it has both conservatives and liberals completely losing their mind on Twitter and social media. I tweeted this: conservative evangelicals are saying He Gets Us is preaching another gospel. I've seen videos about this, even though their about page is fairly within the lines of orthodoxy. The left is losing it because it's funded by a hate group, quote unquote, because they don't support same-sex marriage. And there's some affiliation with Hobby Lobby and some other organizations that funded this entire campaign to, quote unquote, rebrand Jesus. AOC is, of course, losing her mind, saying that He Gets Us is here to endorse fascism, ladies and gentlemen. Again, you cannot make this stuff up. And, when you get beneath the layers, you discover that the $1 billion behind the He Gets Us campaign is affiliated with an organization called Glow, once partnered with Cambridge Analytics, and specializes in relational data. What this means is they're basically gathering leads for churches to plug people into different churches for their data. Glow specializes in connecting users. It calls explorers. Right? This kind of reminds me of the seekers language that was used when I came to faith 20 years ago to churches and other ministries. The company defines an explorer as a person who is either searching online for answers in a time of need or is looking for a church community or experiencing any other life transition. So, to be clear, the He Gets Us campaign spends $1 billion total, about $100 million apparently in these ads. And the ads in of themselves aren't bad. It talks about, the one that played yesterday was about loving your enemies, and Jesus would love the people we hate. That's a good message for our country. I don't think there's anything wrong with that message, okay? And so they play these ads during the Super Bowl. Conservative evangelicals lose it because they feel like it's an incomplete gospel. The left is calling it fascism and partnership with a quote-unquote hate group, okay, because there's some funding behind that. And this is apparently a feeder through an organization called Glow to get leads for churches to get explorers into their funnel. I know that's a weird word to say around ministry. Okay, let's read some more. Glow connects explorers who have encountered its partner campaigns with local churches who may pay anywhere from $129 to $314 for Glow services. Okay, that's a month. Depending on the size of a church or the ministry, Glow is running a promotion giving clients a free year of its services. He Gets Us is a featured Glow partner campaign. In 2021, Wall Street Journal reported that Glow works with around 30,000 churches, or about 10% of all churches in the United States. The same report indicates that Glow crunches data to try to identify people going through a crisis. Interesting. In a book titled Data in the Church, Glow recommends that churches consider using what it calls relational data. The data could be anything from values and motivations to needs and desires. One documentary reported that Glow worked with British firm Cambridge Analytical. This was to build a platform churches could use to advertise to people who have lost loved ones or have mental health challenges. All right. Cambridge Analytica, of course, made headlines for harvesting millions of Facebook users' data without consent, mainly for political marketing. It's pretty fascinating stuff if you ask me here. I have a video, though, that kind of gave me some hope about this, and I got a verse at the end of this video, and then we're going to talk about the Rihanna situation and how all that connects in terms of it being the most pro-Christian Super Bowl ever. But first, I got to tell you guys something. Hey, you want to see something crazy? Over 51% of the people who watch this channel are not subscribed. And the ones that are subscribed, only 10% have their bell notification on. So do me a favor, please hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notification on so you don't miss anything we have going here. All right? I appreciate you. So Rihanna made an announcement that she was pregnant and saying that she was going to be bringing a special guest to the Super Bowl. The special guest ended up being the baby in her stomach. Now, what I find fascinating about this is that this is their second baby, and it's a baby because she identifies it as a baby, okay? Because in a majority of states, they're predicting that she's between 3 to 5 months along, and you can yeet that baby in many states. So she is very pro-life in her announcement of another human that is inside of her, and I think this also adds to this being one of the most Christian Super Bowls ever, is that there is the celebration of new birth and new life inside of someone that they were going back and forth about. How far along was she? Her audience was saying, is this too soon to have another baby? All this kind of stuff is just completely crazy and wacky, if you ask me, okay? So she's they're saying possibly in her second trimester, who knows, but her rep did confirm that she is pregnant, that this special guest was the person inside of her. And yeah, so shout out to Rihanna for in her inadvertently being pro-life type of approach here. Now, here's something that brought me hope about the He Gets Us movement. My buddy Chris Broussard is actually a part of this somehow. Okay, and so he did an interview with CBN, kind of sharing the heartbeats behind He Gets Us, and then I'll give you guys my final assessment here in a moment. If you guys don't know, Chris Broussard is a friend of the channel. He's actually going to come out and do another in-person interview with me. But this is what he said to CBN.
This campaign really it does two things. One, it's kind of a rebranding of Jesus Christ in America. There are a lot of misconceptions about Christ here in America.
So I think it's important that he says rebranding, not of Jesus. Okay, because I don't think Jesus needs a rebrand, but of Jesus in America. Okay, now, is he onto something? Well, let's listen.
People associating him with various political views and various groups of people associating him with elitism and negative things in our country's past. And He Gets Us is rebranding that, showing that Jesus is for all people of all races, ethnicities, of all socioeconomic statuses. So that's one thing it's doing, but also it's kind of showing in our polarized society how, people are either getting angry with the other side or they're avoiding the other side altogether. And we're showing through Jesus, there's a third way, and that is to respect one another and to love other people with various views different from yourself. Jesus obviously taught us to love our enemies. And so we want to just show that confounding love of Jesus Christ to America and show that his example and his teachings and his life really hold the answers to our modern day challenges that we're facing individually and as a society.
Interesting. So you got the loony left completely losing it with folks like AOC and that guy Ryan on Twitter and TikTok having a complete meltdown. You have the conservatives saying it's a false gospel. I decided to do some recognizance work. I thought, well, what would happen if I went to hegetsus.com and hit their about page? What are they about? And if you scroll down, it doesn't take you very long to get to the About Us page, where they full on embrace that Jesus is the Son of God who came to earth, died, and was resurrected, then returned to heaven, and is alive today. We have also included many voices out here, and then it goes to say that they believe Jesus is God, that Jesus bodily resurrected. It says that they're a nonprofit organization and that they're not neither left nor right, but that is what they believe. And so some people found some of this language a bit ambiguous. However, on their About page, they're very straightforward, and they believe Jesus is God. They believe he resurrected. They believe that he died, so on and so forth. Now, to be fair, you don't see any mention of sin and repentance and all of those other languages. But if I'm going to be shrewd and consider the source, and the source is being dismissed as those bigoted fascist Christians, well, maybe there's something to this after all. Now, I'll give you guys one verse that I think kind of glues this all together. But before I do that, do me a favor, make sure you guys all smash that like button. It really does help us out a ton. So here's the verse that came to mind for me, and you could disagree with this if you want to, but for me, I think of that good old passage from Philippians chapter 1. It is true, this is verse 15, that some preach Christ out of envy and rivalry, but others out of goodwill. The latter do so out of love, knowing that I am put here for the defense of the gospel. The former preach Christ out of selfish ambition, not sincerely, supposing that they can stir up trouble for me while I am in chain. Now, I don't know their motives. I don't know if this is just a lead generator for churches to get people's information and data to try to put ads in front of them through funnels or through Facebook pixels. I don't know. But what does it matter? The important thing is that in every way, whether from false motives or true, Christ is preached. And because of this, I rejoice. Christ is being spoken of on the biggest television event in American history, the Super Bowl. Hundreds of millions of viewers, okay? I think that's a good thing. I think if we look at all the stuff that's happening with The Chosen, with the Jesus Revolution movie, with the access to more Bible translations and preachers, I think this is a good thing. I think if we're looking at what's happening at the Asbury revival right now, I think these are all good things. Is it the way I would have done it? No. I probably would have said, wait a minute, guys. If we got $1 billion, perhaps we can redirect it in a way that maybe actually does some of the hands and feet work of Jesus, or to, a film about doing some of the hands and feet work of Jesus, or building orphanages and water filtration systems. But that doesn't matter what I would have done. This is what they decided to do and how they decided to use this revenue to help utilize the message of Jesus to hopefully bring unity to a very dark and divided time in history. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that is a good thing. And so if you guys want to see some more of our conversations about this, specifically, we just had Pastor Greg Laurie talking about his new film on the Jesus Revolution that's coming out in a few weeks. I'm actually doing a local meetup about that. We'll have that pinned up somewhere over here. But if you want to see the full unextended interview, consider partnering with us on Patreon and help us contextualize the gospel through media so that you can be our boss and we don't have to take brand deals like this.
Our friends at Genucel Skincare have exciting news to celebrate in 2023.
Using Manscaped during my showers after workout has given me much more confidence.
And that's where Mudwater comes in.
True Classic has got your back.
All thanks to the sponsor of today's video, SayMine.com.
Established Titles is your opportunity to earn the title of Laird or Lady. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 7.99% APR to 19.99% APR, included 0.50% auto pay discount.
If you don't want us to make ads with brands you don't care about, sign up for our online community for as little as $5 a month to keep us independent and ultimately answering to you as our boss. You get all sorts of benefits like daily replays of our after party streams, exclusive access to our Discord community, and early access to our podcast interviews, all starting for only $5 a month.
Kingstream Entertainment. Ruslan